And welcome to the Philippine National Qualifiers of Female Esports League 2019. My name is Suomi, together with me Sneep, and we are heading straight to the draft of Game 1 between FIT Tamaraos versus BB.
Right, and this is going to be the losers bracket. I believe this is going to be the quarterfinals, so both teams, they had a pretty promising start in day one. It's just that they eventually fell to the bottom, but it's not yet over for them. They still have a chance to make it to the top, get that spot in FSL International. And I think pick and ban already started, so let's go ahead and take a look at what's happening right now.
Yep, and we are seeing that the first banning phase is already done. We are in the first picking phase already. And for FIT Tamaraos, we see a Morgana and a Nami. Morgana right now, not quite sure on where she stands in the meta, but she is a solid pick, especially on specialized compositions wherein they opt to pick off someone and they do pair it with an Ashe who's also famous for sniping down people with those arrows. Meanwhile, for BB, you see a Sejuani and a Karma.
Yeah, and I mean, Morgana has been a pick that's been constantly banned and picked throughout day one. So now we see FIT identifying how important of a pick that Morgana is, and they immediately lock it in. But what's interesting is they already have that Nami as well, so it's not going to be a Morgana support.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be top lane or a mid lane. We'll just have to find out.
Yeah, and mid lane Morgana is one of those mid lanes that are really easy to use and really effective as well. You just press Tormented Soil on the minion wave, easy wave clear. Then of course the pressure coming in from Dark Binding as well is unreal. But they do answer that Morgana with a Sivir AD carry who's fairly hard to hit with CC, especially with that spell shield. But we are entering on the second banning phase of game 1, and we are seeing a Kennen ban and a Mordekaiser.
Yeah, so the Kennen and Mordekaiser, I think Mordekaiser is actually in a pretty good spot right now. Mordekaiser had a few changes, I believe, in the previous recent 9.15 patch. And now he's just in a really good position, and we're seeing that banned away by the team of FIT.
Well, right now we are entering the second picking phase, and we do see a Corki, and I'm expecting that this will be going to the mid lane. We are seeing a lot of Corki in the meta right now, especially in competitive. We are seeing the Azir Corki matchup again and again, but we are already seeing a Morgana in FIT, so I'm not looking for an Azir right now. They are hovering over Illaoi. Not quite sure where she stands in the meta, but Illaoi, one of the strongest top laners in terms of trading, and can even do 3v1s early on in this game.
Yeah, so that's going to be an Illaoi top for sure. So that means it's going to be Morgana in the mid lane for Jirain. And we do see that it could still be a Karma top, or it could be a Karma support. Most likely that Karma support. So we're waiting for that jungle pick on FIT. The Rammus actually coming out, gonna be for the late.
Well, but speaking of Karma top has been around quite a while in solo queue right now, so it is rising to popularity. So I'm not gonna be surprised if Yaya will pick up that Karma in the top lane, knowing that Karma, even if she will build support items, one Iceborne content can just make a huge difference on Karma. Really strong in the top lane. So right now they are hovering on that Jax. So I guess this will be support Karma, and this Urgot is gonna be in the top lane.
Yeah, so it's gonna be the Urgot top lane, Corki mid, and then the Karma support for the side of BB. And for FIT, I think fairly straightforward as well, with the Morgana being in the mid lane.
Yeah, and this Morgana in the mid lane, what can you tell me about it? He will be going against Faker with a 4 for an A in the mid lane. Again, that is a Corki. Corki does deal magic damage, but against some Morgana, how do you think this Corki will fare?
I mean, it's going to be a pretty straightforward lane. Morgana just want to keep on pushing the lane. And something I noticed about FIT yesterday is they did a really good job of grouping as a team in the early stages of the game and like going for those early tower dives on the other lanes. So you have that Morgana who can just roam to the other sides of the map, and then you have that really fast jungler gank. And I do think that this Rammus is one of those players we need to keep an eye out, because she played amazing in game 1. She contributed a lot to FIT's win. She had a really impressive Hecarim game actually the day before. So I'm really looking forward to see how FIT do. Meanwhile, BB, they're also quite strong as well. Both of these two, I believe BB was one of the favorites coming into winning this whole thing. Whereas FIT, they are that new team. They are a college team, all of them consisting of members from FIT, the school itself. So it's been an interesting story to see for both of these teams.
Yep, and looking at the whole composition of FIT and BB, we are seeing a lot of CC coming in from FIT. Meanwhile, for BB, I think they have a more balanced and more damage at least higher in damage composition, especially with the Urgot pick, who can easily pick off a target using Fear Beyond Death. And of course, Fear Beyond Death paired up with a lot of high damage carries over here like Sivir and Corki can legitimately just take anybody from FIT's composition right now. But of course, we do have our own speculations and of course analysis in this game. We are asking you, the viewers, to have your own analysis of the game as well. Make sure that if you think the BB has a better composition or FIT has a better composition, or do you think that you just want to support your teams, make sure that your voice is heard over there. Make sure to type those FIT win or BB win in the chat. We are gonna listen to your comments later on after this game, but right now, make sure that your voice is heard. Share the stream to your friends. Support your friends if you're watching them right now, and we're just waiting for great quality League of Legends action.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of support, I mean, everyone's been really supportive of all these teams participating. I believe at the venue itself, there was just a lot of people who showed up to the venue not to play, but just to watch and really support their friends in participating in this tournament. Yeah. So that was really cool to see, and I'm sure it's gonna be the same today. And for all of you who don't know, this is live at War Gods Guadalupe right now, so all the teams are playing there. So maybe if you're around the area, stop by, say hi to your friends, to your role models, idols.
Yep, and I think for FSL as a whole, this is not basically I think this is gonna be one of those interesting tournaments around Philippines.
Yeah,
because not only does it promote female esports in Philippines, but it also helps it grow. But then again, up to what extent? The moment you be a champion in FSL, I think the best way for female esports to grow over here is just to, I mean, they already are in a bad edge right now. When I mean by bad edge, I think I read a status on Facebook earlier with saying that esports is not a level ground. Like, girls started playing Barbies when they were young because they were told to, while boys had all the time to play video games. And at 10 years old, you're basically, boys already spent thousands of hours playing video games. Meanwhile, girls, they're just gonna start playing video games. So we're on the age right now that this tournament exists, that this healthy tournament exists to promote female esports. And female esports, even if you're making a subculture out of esports itself, you're still promoting and you're still making sure that the female power inside esports is indeed growing in the Philippines. So FSL has been doing a great job, and we're seeing a lot of great competitors inside this tournament right now.
Yeah, I mean, very interesting points you made, and not only is it about the empower, like, very good points, and we have to remember that the winner of this tournament is going to Singapore to compete as well. So this is also empowering that Southeast Asian esports as a whole, raising that level up and trying to create more competition amongst the regions as well. So that's really exciting for me as well. And I believe that we are going to be heading into the game soon. There is just a few pause, like, the courtesy pause where everyone does their settings.
Yep. And of course, for our viewers over here, you did mention that it is happening live right now in War Gods Guadalupe. So if you're around the area, make sure to watch, support your favorite teams. Of course, we're not only catering to female viewers right now, a lot of male viewers as well. So if you have your online crush right now playing some quality League of Legends in FSL, make sure that you support her in her venture into the competitive esports scene. So there's a lot of things going on in FSL right now, and we're excited to bring you our first game for day 2. But for day 1, if you were to put 3 adjectives to describe day 1, how would you describe it?
I'd say 3 adjectives. I'd say interesting, unexpected, and exciting, I guess. There was a lot of upsets and there was a lot of really close games. For those of you who don't know, it's actually I believe it's GGTY or GG Well Played, GGTY, who came out on top. Actually, while we're waiting for the game, maybe we can go ahead and take a look at the bracket right now and see what went on in day 1. So right now we do see that this is going to be the winners bracket, and we do see that GGTY were able to top FID Itamrouse, who are playing right now, and they also were able to top one of the favorites coming to this tournament, Ardent Esports. So very impressive performance by them. And now they're going to be waiting at the finals. So we will be broadcasting that finals game in a few hours once we conclude that losers bracket. And speaking of the losers bracket, let's go ahead and hop down towards that losers bracket to see what's in store for us. But looks like we're gonna be heading
going straight to the game. 5 people just grouping up. We have to go back to the game right now. 5 people grouping up. They are spotted by a ward over there, so it's gonna be fairly safe for BB right now. But it was a great attempt by FIT and a great defense as well. And this is starting to be chaotic early on in this game. And this only shows us that FIT and BB, they mean business. They want to win this as fast as they can. And minions did spawn just now, and they will be opting for a more standard laning right now. And Rammus will be starting on the red side. Meanwhile, the jungler for BB, Sejuani, will be starting with the red side as well, but no leash coming in from Urgot, and that's gonna be, I think, huge for the clear speed rather. But then again, Rammus not that fast early on in this game. And there you go. I mean, it's just gonna be a simple clear in the bot lane. Leash coming in from this Ashe and Nami, and small trade up here in the mid lane.
Yeah, so gonna be pretty standard starts coming into this. So red start Rammus actually going for Krugs now, so that could mean that he wants to go for that early gank in that bottom lane. It is a Karma and a Sivir, so once you're able to predict that, pop that spell shield, it can happen. You can burn that early flash, and I think that's going to be the plan. We already see that ping right there on my way. Rammus is going to make her way towards this bottom lane, so a very early gank. And will it pay off for her?
Well, if it doesn't get a kill or at least burn summoner spells in the bot lane, it's gonna be huge for BB, because the moment this Rammus gets delayed on the red side, it'll only be a Sejuani show for the early game. Of course, we're seeing Sejuani already going towards his blue, skipping the rape, skipping the Krugs as well. So I think she does have an idea that Rammus might gank early in the bot lane, but they do cancel that gank. Right now, he is hovering around mid lane.
Yeah, so it looks like they might want to contest that early scuttle in the bot lane. Rammus already pathing towards that area. And aside from this Rammus, I want to go ahead and move towards that top lane. There's a really cool fun fact in that regard, as the top laner of BB is actually one of the only, if not the only, challenger player in this tournament. So that's pretty exciting to see, and we'll have to see how this is going to pan out for Bright One, as she's already bullied out this Illaoi out of the top lane.
Yeah, and Illaoi, just one of, I think, the best top laners right now in terms of trading, but Urgot has been showing up right now, especially with that Conqueror rune. A lot of damage coming in from that Urgot, and Bright has been showing up on that top lane. Meanwhile, Sejuani is opting for a counter jungling right now, but doesn't actually find any camps for Rammus, but is in a great position to dive bottom lane. This is going to be dangerous for FIT.
Yeah, so FIT being forced to recall already, as they're attempting to recall. The Sejuani did eventually back off, and no summoner spells burnt yet, so lots of attempts, but nothing really going on so far. But
and I think the pressure is matched evenly for junglers. It's not that nothing is happening around the map, but it's always pressure against pressure that both teams just call it off.
Yeah.
It's too dangerous to risk early on, and if you do find a lead, or maybe just have a lot of errors in the early game, that will eventually lead for one team to have a big edge in the mid game. And as we know, mid game is one of the best time to win games, and whoever gets control of early game, it's usually GG.
That's very true. And speaking of this early game, it looks like these teams are playing a bit safer than we saw in game 1. There is a lot on the line. This is the losers bracket. This is the very first game of day 2, so these teams have had that time in the evening to go over their games, reset their minds, figure out what went wrong, and just do their best to make sure that they can give it all they have today.
Yeah, and all they have is I think, the requirement for today. They can't give just 3/4 or half. They have to go all out today if they want to win. But right now, we are seeing Jerain just low on mana over there, losing a big trade against this Corki. And I do have to take note that Corki has cleanse. If he gets ganked with Rammus taunt and Jerain's snare, it's gonna be easy to just press that cleanse and Valkyrie out. So this mid lane, I think, good judgment by Faker with a 4 for an A to just get that cleanse.
And I mean, there's just so many things that can really catch you off guard as this Corki. There's the Morgana bind, there's that Ash arrow, the Nami bubble, the Rammus taunt. There's just so much CC that you want to avoid, but is inevitably going to happen, and that cleanse just helps mitigate
and
that.
that inevitability is happening right now, and the aftershock is there for Melanea, and it's gonna be Faker dodging that snare, and he will survive without using his cleanse.
Yeah, that was a very close gank and very well played. Both the cleanse and flash still available. Very confident play right there.
Yep, and this is going to be a 1v1 in the top lane. Bright, low in HP, one more auto. The first blood will go to the Illaoi. MVP caster minions over there, and Bright burning his flash, but the teleport is there for him to get back in lane.
The minions finished the job in that top lane. Just a few more ticks by those caster minions was enough to kill Bright, and that will be the first blood, and that puts the gold lead basically even right now.
Yeah, and actually it's surprising. I think it's mainly because of the mid lane. Quirky is 23 CS ahead against this Morgana, and if you think about it, it's huge. One perfect wave of creeps is around, or minions rather, is around 125 gold. So being ahead by 25 CS is just being one kill ahead against this Morgana, and we are seeing that he opt for that haunting, guys. But look at the damage coming in from Chule, actually not uses the spell shield to dodge that volley, but the damage coming in from Boomerang Blade, quite scary.
Yeah, the CS leads are off the charts right now for BB. Bottom lane already has almost a 20 CS lead from the Sivir and the Ashe. In the mid lane, there is a 50 to 30 CS difference as well. So they're doing a very good job.
Chopai. Man,
very close.
The comet coming in from the volley of Ashe might be annoying for BB right now. But the junglers are in bottom lane. They are trying to pick a fight. But the Boomerang Blade just sends out a message. We don't want any of those ganks.
Yeah, there was so many pings in that bot lane, but they decided to back away as a bit too risky right now. Not worth the risk.
Yeah, and this has been the trend for this game. A lot of attempts, but the pressure just gets to the point where you want to call it off. You don't want to risk it. You don't want to give the early game to any of the teams, but we are seeing a slight shift in momentum in the top lane. You did see that Illaoi get bullied early on, but the moment that he got some points in their abilities, it was just Illaoi bullying Bright in the top lane, eventually getting a kill as well. So I think for FIT, they have to make plays around the top lane, because top lane right now, it is winning.
Yeah, and they do have the ability to make those plays. We're going to eventually see Morgana start roaming around the map and trying to get binds and force fights. But until then, it's just going to be BB with that momentum, with that early game presence, and they're going to establish that right now with this dragon attempt. Everyone is collapsing. What will happen next?
Yeah, the teleports are up for the top laners, but the Dark Binding actually zones out 3 of them, so this is gonna be an Ocean Drake resetting. But look at Corki, the Soul Shackle is still there for Jerain, but Jerain flashes away, canceling his own ult, but the Dark Binding lands onto the Sejuani. That's gonna be a lot of damage coming in from the Ricochet. The snare lands, and this might be the first kill as Faker gets a kill on Jopai. LIS running away with his life, but Chule with a Boomerang Blade gets another kill. Valkyrie in to Melania, but it's not gonna be a kill, but this is gonna be an Ocean Drake for BB.
And that was just very well played by Faker. That's the decisiveness I was looking for. Immediately used the package, went in immediately onto Jerain, and just didn't stop the chase. Once that initial fight happened, Sivir was there to back it up. The Karma was there to back it up. They just have really good response. You have that Sivir ultimate on the hunt, and you also have that Karma shield, the empowered shield, to just speed up everyone else as well. And very clean play, which led to that dragon.
Yep, and it is 1-2 right now with a roughly 1k gold lead in the side of BB. And Bright, I think all he has to do right now is just to survive this lane against Illaoi and make sure that the CS will be even or even in favor of him. But right now, FIT, I really do hope that they play around this Illaoi, because Illaoi right now is the only winning lane that they have.
That is true, but the Laui is gonna have some trouble trying to get that big, massive 5-man ultimate that she really wants to look for coming into those team fights, because there's just so much mobility from this BB side. It's hard to get into that position, and once you do,
Yeah, and
it's just they also have that damage and that CC to kind of lock you up and preventing you from popping off.
and of course on the hunt and the inspire with empowered mantra just lets BB walk away from the tentacles and have a fight elsewhere, and that's what you don't want if you're Baku playing Illaoi. What you want is to keep them in one place where the tentacles slam all day long and eventually get a lot of kills out of that. And apparently the whole squad of BB, as you said, has a lot of mobility, and you don't want that as Illaoi. But right now, we are seeing that they are pinging around Rift Herald, and I think RH would be great for FIT. Again, I have to stress this point. They have to make something happen in the top lane, and there you go. The ult coming in from Urgot will be not dealing a lot of damage in the top lane, but it forces Baku to back away.
Yeah, and the flash was burnt by Baku, so that means that she won't have that available, and she will be extremely susceptible to these ganks by Sejuani. Sejuani already on that top side of the map, and you were talking earlier about how Rift Herald is the go-to objective at the moment, and that just falls more in line with the plan that BB wants to execute.
But look at this. Sejuani just hovering around the mid lane, but the Rammus is early in the gank. Aftershock will be popped. The cleanse a little bit too early there, but no levels on that taunt means early taunt finishing. But Jirain pops a barrier, pops a stopwatch, will delay a little bit of damage, but look at the damage coming in from Faker. One more auto attack can seal the deal, but the stun will land, but he is under tower, and it's gonna be a safe FIT duo right now, but it's gonna be a little bit of plating for the side of BB.
Yeah, and that was a very close back and forth fight. Both players on both sides executed that perfectly and very cleanly. And I think it's going to be BB that comes up on top slightly, but very well commendable by just all players around the map. And even though the cleanse was used a bit early, I do believe that cleanse does grant you CC reduction in the next 2 seconds after you use it. So that did actually save the Corki right there. So very well played to Corki.
And even if the cleanse was used a little too early, it does still reduce the upcoming CC right after the CC that you cleanse. So that means the taunt was shortened to around 60%, and that's a lot of time to save actually yourself away from that gank. So Bright still trading against Illaoi over here, but we are seeing Sejuani on the top side. Dragon will be, I think, 3 minutes away, so they have to focus on this top side right now. Rift Herald is the only major objective. Meanwhile, looking at this Rammus in the bottom lane.
Yeah, so Rammus is trying to go for that play, but it's going to be a bit harder as this game progresses. The Sivir and Karma's not the lane you really want to gank. You really need to get that initial lockup by the Ash Arrow or that Nami Tidal Wave or the Bubble actually. And then that's when the Rammus can swoop in and kind of force that fight. But before then, it's just very hard when you have that spell shield and you just have so much mobility.
And we do see that Corki and Sejuani proceed to back off. I think initially they wanted to dive this Illaoi, but then again, it's a Illaoi. It's gonna be hard to dive against this beast, especially on the 3v1. But look at this bot lane. The arrow lands on Chule, the bubble as well. It's gonna be CC all day as Melania gets a kill against Sivir, and it's not gonna be over as Karma tries to run away with the mantra, but the package is there. Faker trying to deal a lot of damage, but Melania is gonna be regening with that potions. The snare will land. No aftershock is available, but the armor is there. Yeah, low on HP. Faker re-entering the fight with a glacial prison, and that's gonna be BB taking a kill out of LI. That's a double kill for Faker, but this is gonna be Jirain entering the fight. Soul Shackles hits 2, but the Flash and the Valkyrie will keep them safe as of now.
Yeah, a beautiful back and forth fight between both of these teams, but in the end, it's BB who comes out on top. Great counter initiate by Faker and by Shift. I believe they were able to catch LA like right with that tip of that Sejuani ult, which was quite impressive actually. And that's just what made that fight turn around, and as a result, BB is now walking away with that 2,000 gold lead, and they might even get this top lane turret already. as the Laui was forced to teleport to that bottom side.
That's gonna be some tasty turret plating for this Urgot. That's around 800 gold. He did get 5 turret. Actually, no, just 3 or 4 turret platings, but the first turret of the game. So still, that's around 600 to 800 gold, and that's massive for this Urgot. Has the Executioner's Calling right now with the Black Cleaver. This is gonna be huge for for BB rather. But look at this Corki, almost done with his Trinity Force, and we do know what Corki can do with that Trinity Force.
That is true, and Trinity Force is going to be a very big power spike as BB goes for this next dragon in that bottom lane.
Dark Binding doesn't land on Faker. Great Valkyrie away, but Melania a little bit too close against this Corki. And this is a dragon half HP right now. I think this is going to be secured by BB, but will they contest on this dragon? Valkyrie in! That's a little bit cocky for Faker over there, but the cleanse does save his life. Melania on a tough spot right now. 3 people chasing this Rammus, but gotta go fast. You see me rolling and I'm gonna leave.
That's true, and now it's BB. With that second dragon, they're just going to group up 4 in that mid lane, try to push this down as fast as they can. It's only the Morgana and Rammus.
Tower dive. That's going to be Melania dead, and Shift with a great engage over there will be taking the mid lane turret, but the bot lane duo just trying to harass Bright over there. I don't think it's going to be a smart decision to just defend against this Urgot, sending 2 people in the bottom lane when your mid lane is getting focused by 4 people from BB.
Yeah, now they're going to transition towards that Rift Herald. Great rotation by this BB team, and there's nothing that FIT Tamrails can do at the moment, but hope is not lost. They do have that comeback potential. The Ashe can be a formidable threat in that late game once you have those items going. The attack speed does add up.
Yeah,
and they do have that pick potential to kind of get back into the game. You need to snipe those key targets and just bring the tides back into your favor slowly but surely.
And speaking of key targets, I think the key targets and the only key targets from BB would be Sivir and Corki. And Corki has a cleanse. Sivir has a spell shield. It's gonna be hard for FIT to get a target, but look at Bright jumping on this Nami. This might be an execute. Fear Beyond Death will be working as Fit Jopai with a great outplay under turret. Gets a kill on this Urgot.
Yeah, amazing outplay by Jopai, keeping her distance, getting that clutch bubble, stopping the Bright one from getting any closer, and then just getting that clutch heal off, and that's gonna be a 1v1 outplay, support versus top lane.
Yep, and I think that's a spicy 1v1 if you look at in Nami's perspective, because Nami is really low in HP. If Fear Beyond Death actually didn't expire a second earlier, then that could have been the kill for Urgot. But then again, it was just flash and the bubble.
It was just a very well-timed bubble. Urgot was trying to press that Fear Beyond Death trigger. It's just that he couldn't press it because that bubble landed right when he wanted to press that, and by the time he got out of the bubble, just a bit too late, and he already committed too much to that tower dive.
Yep, and of course that's going to be a great outplay for Jopai and a boost of gold as well for a support getting a kill against a top laner. But meanwhile, Girain will be using that Tormented Soil to just shove that top lane. But looking at the turrets right now, I think FIT, they have to focus on getting at least 1 turret to free up some pressure around the map, because right now, all outer turrets are still alive for BB.
That is true, and these outer turrets are going to be slowly falling down one by one. Urgot has been making a decent amount of work to get this final turret in that bot side done. Meanwhile, for this FIT side, they just need to really just stabilize the map, do what they can to farm up, and hope they can get that pick that I was talking about and make that comeback from there.
Yep, and Sejuani lurking around the map, trying to pressure the mid lane, actually succeeds in doing so. Control Ward is placed inside the jungle of FIT, and BB Faker is in the top lane, just trying to push against this Morgana. And right now, I think BB applying pressure around the map, showing FIT how they play their macro, is a great way in opening up day 2.
Right, that is true. So the Rift Herald still hasn't been used yet, and Corki is walking around with a package, so they really want to force something at the moment. They're just not sure what to force yet, because FIT is just playing a bit too safe, and they're not exposing themselves to any openings.
Yep, and speaking of openings, we are seeing that Morgana inside this game, no assists, no kills, but still no deaths. And I think that's fair enough because you would want to not give kills against your enemy team, but of course you have to help your team as well. But he has been focusing on shoving lanes alone, so I guess that's is that 0 is forgivable right now, but he has to show up in team fights right now. They have to make sure that this Morgana is able to stun up 2 or 3 people, or maybe get priority targets, which is Faker and Chule for BB.
Yeah, so Rift Herald was popping the mid lane. It was expiring, so they just needed to get it over with, and they're actually going to be able to get a turret with the use of that Rift Herald, so quite worth. That's high value right there.
And that's around, we are 21 minutes inside the game, 3 to 5 kill score still in the favor of BB. Meanwhile, for the gold, we are seeing a roughly 5k gold lead in the side of BB, and they're trying to push that lead with a 2v1. The top lane, Fear Beyond Death gets the Ilawi, and that's going to be Bright One taking a kill for BB.
And now this is going to be the turret for BB as they push this down. The dragon has spawned as well. That's going to be the second Mountain Drake, so high value right there, allowing them to take those objectives even further, push down those turrets much faster, and take down the next Baron very quickly as well. And I think this is going to go uncontested. No one seems to be responding to this dragon take. They are making moves. Yeah,
they have teleport on Ilawi.
I don't think they're going to commit right now. The pings are going down, but it's just a bit too late.
Yep, and of course, engaging in a 4v5 will never be smart in that situation. But speaking of situation, Bright One looks to be in trouble. 4v1, and it's gonna be a free kill for FIT. And I think Urgot was a little bit out of position over there.
Yeah, but she did open up the map. Sivir has been pushing up this top lane, and she is gonna get a free amounts of damage in onto this top lane and just back away once the Ilawi shows up. So not all in vain, as space was created, and they did get that Mountain Drake.
Yep, we are 22 minutes inside the game, and 3 Drakes has been going for BB. We have to commend Shift over here for superior objective control against Melania. They did say that Melania did play a great Hecarim game yesterday, but right now with the Rammus, he is 1-2-1. I think she has to do a better job with that Rammus. Meanwhile, for Shift, 3 Drakes. And I think they got Rift Herald as well, so that's going to be great for Shift and for BB.
That's true. BB is in the reins right now. They are taking control of this game, but the Baron always opens that opportunity for comebacks to happen. Whenever you're dancing around that Baron pit, there's always that slight chance to get that steal, to find that pick on a low health member and just kind of make a comeback. And that's still possible for FIT, and they are slowly building up those items. The Morgana is quite close to that Zhonya's Hourglass at the moment. Ashe has already picked up the Essence Reaver, and
but look
Faker.
at this. Soul Shackles on Faker, but the flash is burned as well, and the Tidal Wave lands. The arrow lands, and there's no cleanse to save you right now. It's going to be a shutdown kill for Morgana. The Dark Binding isn't thrown yet, but that's going to be -1 for FIT, and FIT might be trying to take this Baron away. A teleport towards where in the bot lane, so they won't be taking that Baron, but they will be defending against that Urgot. But look at this top lane, Ram is speeding against this Karma, but they won't be just engaging in the top lane. No bubble will land, and the Sejuani will be providing a little bit of pressure here in the top lane. No big ultimates as of now, but the stun will land on this Rammus. Great sidestep by Melania. The 2-man bubble from Nami as well, but Chule gets a kill on this Rammus, and Urgot is in the top lane right now. They are in the position to take Baron.
Yeah, pings are going down onto Baron. Corki has just responded as well. Meanwhile, we do see that Ilawi is still bottom while the Morgana is pushing this mid lane. It looks like FIT is going to concede this Baron over to the BB side. 1v1.
Hold that thought. Jirain versus Faker over here, and that's going to be an easy kill for Faker. Corki, disgusting damage from that Trinity Force and BF Sword.
Yeah, that's very well played by Faker, and despite Faker getting caught, she did do a good job of redeeming herself right there, and it was a nice attempt by FIT. They had things in the works going for that pick onto Faker. It was, for a second, their team composition was working the way it should. Lock them down with CC, even though that person has cleanse. Get the Ashe Arrow down, get that Nami bubble down, get that taunt, the Morgana binding, and that happened for FIT. So they do know what they need to do. It just wasn't enough at that moment. And now it's going to be an 8,000 gold lead for BB as they look to push down more turrets and try to snowball their lead.
And looking what BB did and have done throughout this game, we are seeing that BB has been superior in roaming around the map. Shift has been exquisite in her objective controls, and of course controlling the objective for your teams, a double Mountain Drake plus an Ocean Drake, the Rift Herald as well, and now the Baron, it just ups their chances for winning by a significant amount. And for a team to have that kind of macro in this competitive scenario, that's what you need to win games. And BB looks to be winning this game. But of course, you did say that comebacks do happen. And for FIT, what do you think that they have to do in order to get back to this game?
They need to keep continuing what they did when during that time where they got that kill onto the Corki. They need to find people out of rotation, commit to that kill, land those dark bindings, land those enchanted crystal arrows, and just try to force those 4v5s, awkward 5v3s, those sort of things in order to come back. And even though the gold lead might be quite high in favor of BB, that's the beauty about picks. You don't necessarily need to have the most gold to make it happen, as you're forcing a numbers advantage which compensates for the lack of gold.
Yep, but speaking of numbers advantage, I think if you would want to engage into a numbers advantage, you wouldn't want to match all the lanes.
And I think BB knows this. BB knows that the only way they lose is through this numbers, and they're
going
for that fight.
Prison on Melania, and that's gonna be Shift on a killing spree, but will jump on this Morgana as well. Spell Shield is there to provide some protection, but they back off and try to take turret instead. The shield from Karma will be massive in saving his life over there, but look at Chule just trying to get a kill on Jopai. Boomerang Blade is there, and that's gonna be a kill on Nami. Eli in trouble as well. The barrier will be providing a little bit of protection and actually saved his life, but this is gonna be 2 inhibitors down for FIT.
Yeah, they are knocking on the base of this FIT Tamrao's team. They did get that first inhibitor. They are gonna get that second one as well. And this might just be the game right here, as BB are gonna be doing their best to really pressure down FIT Tamrao's, as the Nami is still dead for another 10 seconds.
Yep, and this is going to be a dark binding landing, but this won't mean a lot. But meanwhile, in the bottom lane, that's going to be another inhibitor down for FIT, and I think this is going to be game. We are seeing that Nexus turrets are going down. They are a lot of minions inside their base. So do you think this is going to be end?
Yeah, for sure this is going to be the end, but very well played by BB. They are showing that going down into the losers bracket might have been a fluke for them, and they are proving right now that they deserve to be at that top seat. They deserve to make it to the finals, possibly make it all the way to Singapore. And for FIT Tamrao's, they played really well. As the first time heading into this FSL tournament, they did a really good job. They defeated a lot of favorite teams coming into that point right now, as I believe they're just like 1 game away from that winner semifinals. So they prove themselves, and I think that they're going to grow even more as a team, seeing as they're only just college students.
Yeah. And speaking of growing as a team, we have to stress that losing in competitive matches like this is normal.
Right.
You lose 100 times before you win that one championship. And that one championship, after you lose several times, is going to be delightful and it's gonna be a memorable one, of course.
Very true.
Yeah, and of course the winner of FSL Philippines National Qualifiers will be going to Singapore, and being the champion in the Philippines means a lot for any female team, but winning in Southeast Asia will not only give glory to their team and the country, but of course of all Southeast Asia as well.
Yeah.
So
and speaking of winners, I believe our next game is actually going to be the previous winner of FSL back in January. This is going to be Team Amplify actually playing it off, so it's going to be exciting to see how they perform. I believe there was an article published on Inquirer interviewing Team Amplify. They said that they had a few problems yesterday, but they hugged it out. They discussed it. They discussed what went wrong, and they're really looking forward to winning today. They're very determined. They're very confident that they can make it back to those finals despite dropping down in the losers bracket.
And of course, mental reset is one of the things you need to get back from a big loss. And of course, if it was disappointing for your players, it is disappointing for your fans as well. But of course, fans will remain loyal to these teams, and you just have to win your games, or even try your best.
That's true.
To try and win this tournament. But again, this has been game 1 of day 2 of the Philippine National Qualifiers for Female Esports League 2019. We have been your casters. My name is Uomi, and together with me is Sneep, and we will be right back after a short break.